Hello and welcome to the podcast. Today we continue to explore the rich Irish myths. We will search for a Banshee. In Irish folklore, it is a very unusual fairy who foreshadows death. The Banshee usually wanders stealthily among the trees. Her name translates as a woman from the Sidhe, that is, from the other world. The creature's name is associated with traditional ancient Irish burial mounds. The female spirit foretells death. Her lament usually involves crying, squealing, or wailing. She gives a sign when a family member dies or is about to die. Banshee is rarely seen in the bright of the sun, but at night her mournful cries can be heard all over the land. The cry of this spirit is sadder than all other sounds on earth and foreshadows certain death to one of the family members whenever it is heard in the silence of the night. The sound of her voice varies from region to region. Some describe it as low and sweet, which can be comforting and calming. Others say the Banshee's call is a mixture of the scream of a woman and the moan of an owl that makes your blood run cold. Sometimes their high-pitched screams are described as a merge of the cries of wild geese, the sobs of a child, and the howl of a wolf. Some banshees sing, others simply moan or scream. If one does manage to see the Banshee, she may appear in different guises. Her appearance varies from an ugly hag to a pale beauty. Sometimes she looks like a young woman, or like a rich, middle-aged lady, and sometimes like a withered old witch. She appeared to some on the banks of a stream with bloody clothes in her hands, unsuccessfully trying to wash off the bloodstains. She wears a gray hooded cloak or grave robe reserved for the unholy dead, those who died without last confession. Sometimes she has long, flowing hair, wears a gray cloak over a green dress, and her eyes are red from crying all the time. She can be seen at night in the form of a woman wrapped in rags, crouching under trees, grieving with her face covered, or flying through the moonlight like a witch, while crying bitterly. Banshees are usually depicted with long blonde hair, which they comb with a silver comb. If someone sees such a comb, they should not pick it up. Otherwise, the spirit may take this person away. Although sometimes Banshee can give the comb as a gift to someone they love or consider important. Banshees, as experts in Irish folklore suggest, have no direct analogues in the beliefs of other peoples. It is widely believed that a Banshee is some kind of fairy, but other versions make her nothing more than ghosts or spirits of female mourners, since mourning and sobbing are one of her characteristic features. Some Irish people believe that if the mourner did not perform her duties properly, then after death, she continues to mourn the dying. Others believe that the ghost comes from a specific murdered woman or a mother from this clan who died during childbirth. One of the central aspects of the legends about Banshees is the idea that Banshees are the patron spirits of the family they notify of death. That is, there is a hereditary connection between them. A Banshee may even be the progenitor of the family. According to legends, not all Irish people have a Banshee. In early tales, the Banshee only warned selected members of ancient Irish families. Tradition has it that the Banshee cried only for 4 main families, but this list was apparently expanded over time. They say that the Scottish King James III was visited by a Banshee before his death. There have been many reports of the same happening to members of the royal court and other noble Irishmen. Banshees also appear in places of great sorrow and pain. When several Banshees appear at once, it is said that a great or holy person has died. One possible origin of the Banshee is the Keeners, women in Ireland who were mourners at funerals. It is part of the mourning tradition of Ireland and Scotland, and there were even professional mourners. Banshees are not considerate or malicious fairies. They do not harm people themselves. But given the circumstances, it is easy to see why people prefer never to meet them. Despite their sadness and cries, the Banshee successfully made their way into popular culture. While some interpretations stick closely to the Irish tradition of a mourning woman who signals impending death, others depict Banshees more freely, as terrifying creatures or even powerful sorceresses. Sometimes they are portrayed as villains who tend to harm and scare people, or more like their original image, the wise spirits of the clans. In the Supernatural series, the Winchesters deal with a malevolent Banshee. This type of Banshee drives her victims to crack open their own skulls by torturing them with her Banshee screams. The Banshee then proceeds to feed on her victim's brain. She preys on the vulnerable, and only those whom the Banshee is targeting can hear her screams. In DC's Superman comics, Silver Banshee is an arch-villain with superhuman strength and speed, as well as special sonic powers, such as panlingual fluency and lethal hypersonic shrieking. She appears in both Superman and Supergirl comics and as a foe in the TV show Smallville. Meanwhile, in the Marvel Universe, Banshee, aka Sean Cassidy, was an Irish mutant and sometime member of the X-Men. A Banshee makes a disturbingly frightening appearance in the 1959 Disney film Darby O'Gill and the Little People, starring a young Sean Connery. She summons and is joined by the Dullahan and his death coach as well. In the book Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, a Banshee seems to appear when Seamus Finnegan takes his turn against a boggart during Professor Lupin's defense against the Dark Arts class, as Seamus is afraid of Banshees. Gilderoy Lockhart also writes of his supposed battle with the Bandon Banshee in one of his own favorite fraudulent memoirs. Banshees have made appearances in other games such as the Baldur's Gate series, Diablo series, and various Dungeons & Dragons adaptations. They are also central to TV shows like Teen Wolf, where they are depicted as powerful and often tragic figures. In games like World of Warcraft, Banshees are a type of undead creature found in the game world. Banshees are undead elven spirits who serve the Scourge, visibly haunted individuals characterized by their mournful appearance and chilling cries. They serve a variety of purposes within the game, often acting as ranged spellcasters in the armies of the Scourge. Sylvanas Windrunner, one of Warcraft's most well-known characters, has abilities associated with a Banshee due to her history of being transformed into one. Sylvanas was first introduced in the real-time strategy game Warcraft 3, and has since become one of the most memorable characters in the series. She was once the Elvish Ranger General. During the events of Warcraft 3, Sylvanas was killed by Arthas Menethil, who was on a quest to become the Lich King. However, she was not merely killed, her soul was trapped in a state of undead undeath, turning her into a Banshee. This marked a significant transformation in her character, shifting her from being a champion of the living to an iconic figure among the undead. After regaining her free will, Sylvanas became the leader of the Forsaken, a faction of undead who rebel against the demonic Burning Legion. She led her people from the Undercity beneath the ruins of Lordaeron and played a key role in various events of the games. Banshees have become prominent figures in modern media and pop culture. Their folklore origins bring about a sense of mystique and intrigue associated with death and the supernatural, making them ideal for storytelling in the fantasy, horror, and supernatural genres. Their association with death and their ability to produce a chilling, mournful wail make Banshees particularly effective in horror and thriller media. Their presence instantly creates an atmosphere of fear and dread, and they serve as a perfect spooky element in narration. Thank you for listening. Join us next time for another adventure in the realm of myths and legends. See you soon!